I don't think it's good. A lot of other people don't think it's good, but apparently a lot of people are playing it. Welcome, Master Duelists, to the Master Duel Dojo. There are some who call me Tim. Make sure to subscribe because the dojo reaches enlightenment and monetization at 1,000 subs. Here's your recap of what won in Master Duel tournaments this week. We're looking at the week of November 3rd to November 9th. We had 72 deck lists across 8 tournaments, and I looked at all of them, so you don't have to. November 7th, we had a ban list. Some of the tournaments are before the new ban list, and some are after. So those before the ban list will be marked with a title in red, so that you know. I think people are overestimating the Appaloosa ban. If you can't stop your opponent, I don't think it matters which boss monster you end on. And I will put it on the record that I agree with the Appaloosa ban, but I find myself not actually summoning her in a majority of games when I played Maliss and other Apollo decks. Usually I'd run into a few hand traps and have to cyberslock myself with Splash Mage or Wizard. Maybe that's a skill issue, but if my plays are uncontested, I win, Apollo or not. What the Apollo ban has affected is the texture of games where you're able to summon Apollo pre-Nibiru or use Apollo as insulation for the rest of your combo against other hand traps. That's why she's ban-worthy. We also had a new pack this week, same day, November 7th. We have new Sky Striker cards, Eclipse Twin for Ryzeal, another F0 for Ryzeal. Lunalight's got new support. Liger Dancer is just a towers, we'll get to her. Primite has a new Floodgate Fusion. Dododo Warrior is another circular. Eidos the Underworld Monarch is a new Monarch support, but I haven't seen hide nor hair of any Monarchs anywhere. People say that it can search Majesty's Fiend, which is true, but I haven't seen anybody do it. Lunalight is the new deck in the room that you need to actually take stock of. And if you haven't read Lunalight Liger Dancer, here, let me read it for you. Towers plus Quick Effect Regeki. Okay, there's a little bit more to it. It can attack twice. So what can you do against a towers that can just Regeki your field at will? Well, the answer is kaijus. It's always kaijus. The regular kaijus themselves, you can just slap over Liger Dancer, but it's only 1-for-1 and is usually not searchable unless you're using something like Gamma Seal with Ice Barrier or you have another specific synergy. Lava Golem can hit 2 monsters, but as we very well know, Lava Golem takes up your normal summon. Mitsurugi has their own kaiju in Archetype, which is searchable, so that's awesome for them. Sky Strikers also have their own kaiju, but Sky Strikers don't seem to be very popular right now, and I'm not sure how good they'll be. I hope that they are good, but not too good. Santa Claus is a light fiend, if that rings a bell. It should. Fiendsmith Tract can search Santa Claus. And notably, Kumongus is relevant. Kumongus I don't see in any of the deck lists this week, but you should maybe pack for next week. Also in a few decks, we have new floodgates popping up. And by new floodgates, I mean old floodgates. Protos and Barrier Statue of the Drought are both being searched in Onomat Ryzeal. Archlord Christia is being summoned by Gem Knights. Nightmare Griffin is seeing play in some Maliss decks. And Dimension Shifter is being played in some Maliss decks and a couple Mitsurugi decks. So what's the counterplay against these? Droplet beats both Christia and Nightmare Griffin. Talent, though, requires your opponent to activate something, but does also beat them both. Barrier Statue of the Drought and Nightmare Griffin are both beaten by Kumongus. Kumongus is an Earth Kaiju, which Barrier Statue of the Drought doesn't stop. So just, if there's a different Barrier Statue, make sure to match your Kaiju to its attribute. As for Shifter and Protos, if you're playing a deck that gets hurt by those, there's not much you can do. Shifter's a one-of, so you just have to pray to dodge it, and I think that's your best bet. Whereas with Protos, you can pack your deck with other hand traps to hopefully try to stop them from getting to searching it, but you have to actually stop them from searching it. For other played non-engine, Fuelos, Nibiru, and Droll and Lockbird are in 3/4 of all the decks here, so you should really be playing around those. Impulse is in almost half of the decks, very, very popular card right now, and Bystials are also seeing play in 40% of decks. Magnamon is representative of all of the Bystials. So if you're playing a deck that auto-loses to Impulse or Magnemite, you might want to consider a plan B. And here is your pie chart of pain. Maliss is still on top with almost 1/4 of all of the representation, and then I've lumped the decks together into their other categories. Ryzeal here, 2 of the Ryzeal decks are Mitsurugi decks, so I'll break that down in just a moment. Different Mitsurugi decks are taking up 2nd place, Orcust is in 3rd place behind those, and we do have a lot of Lunalight, but I think that this is, right now, mostly new toy syndrome. At least I hope so, because I don't want to play against the Twin Towers, even if they have thick thighs. Here's the specific breakdown of how the different decks are being played. Pause the video or use the timestamps below to check them out. Maliss is still the winningest deck. It won 5 of the tournaments and has more second place spots than any other deck out there. Lunalight failed to take home any trophy, but did come second in 2 tournaments. And if you're curious of the breakdown on the Mitsurugi, Orcust, and Ryzeal piles, here you go. Before I look at all of the decks in brief detail, I'd appreciate it if you took 2 seconds to like and subscribe. Now you can use the timestamps to navigate to your favorite decks if you're not interested in 12.5 Maliss lists. Maliss has a new innovation in Achichi. I don't think it's good. A lot of other people don't think it's good, but apparently a lot of people are playing it. They're searching Achichi with I Meet You by revealing Decode Talker Heat Soul. Achichi is a normal summon, which is vulnerable to all interaction, whereas Dormouse is only vulnerable to Imperm. Achichi is vulnerable to Ash as well as other different hand traps. And Achichi doesn't actually help you get into Maliss names. You can search Backup, then Backup can grab and dump Dormouse, which you can banish with Lizard or SP, but that's not a super awesome line. Rafa won 2 tournaments with Maliss, one before and after Lunalight release, and interestingly, he is playing IP Masquerena. I haven't looked at the tournament footage, so I don't know if he's regularly ending on IP or not. Milito22 is playing Dimension Shifter. The Challenger Cup was before the Appaloosa ban, so Appaloosa is present here. BTCG is playing Achichi. Kest here is playing without Apollo, but he is playing Nightmare Griffin. I think he thought this was post-ban list because he has 2 Droll, 1 called by, no Apollo. The list on the right is the same as before, but the list on the left is new, post-Lunalight release, and Kest has added Fulos and a Synap Mining, and slimmed down on the Bestials from 7 to 6. Ben has a single Lancia, Drex has a single Talents, Victinium is on both Achichi and Dimension Shifter, where Rafa is back with a standard-looking list. Orcust seems to be consolidating into Fiendsmith Millennium as the main way to play it. The Fiendsmith engine is able to search Santa Claus, which is really cool. We have a Skystriker deck here and a Pure List as well. Moy is the one playing the Pure List, and Yu-Yo Go is playing Skystrikers, and notably both of these are playing Impulse, and that is an advantage of not playing Fiendsmith Millennium, is that you get to play Impulse. These 2 duelists are both playing a single Bestial Lubellion and branded Regained, for the grind game, I suppose, and Boral Sword Dragon is making an appearance. And then we have a whole bunch of Fiendsmith Millennium lists that all look the same to me. Funkinator won the Meta Weekly with Santa Claus in his deck. These 2 duelists are also playing a copy of Santa Claus in their Fiendsmith Millennium list. Rentaz and Daniel are also on Fiendsmith Millennium with Santa Claus, and notably both of them are also playing Boral Sword. Boral Sword is apparently back, guys. Mitsurugi. Mitsurugi is a deck that if played pure or without Ryzeal or without Fiendsmith is another deck that gets to play Impulse, which is just a very good card. A lot of lists are playing Fiendsmith though. And remember, Wosu is a kaiju in archetype that you can search. Mobile X is on 1 Wosu. This Japanese duelist is on 1 copy of Shifter. Black Op and Moy both have a single copy of Wosu. Black Op has apparently even opted for 2 copies of Gallant Granite to search for Nibiru. Mobile X is back with a single copy of Wosu. Strife is here as well, but he also is packing a pair of Lancias. Jim Fandango is one of the few Mitsurugi duelists without triple Impulse. He is instead on some rank up package, which I suppose wants to go second because this Tachyon Xyz just kills really quickly. Twix Bitzer is on nothing special. He's got the 1 Wosu. Here are some truly special Mitsurugi lists. This list on the left is a 52 card Ogdoadic list. And Abomad is, of course, shoving in branded. We also have 2 duelists on Magistus stuff. Yuryevna is also playing Fiendsmith Millennium and Gem Knights in this big pile. Now we arrive at Lunathize. It got a pair of second place finishes, but second place isn't first place. Congrats to Lucas, though, on your second place. The lists I'm seeing are all over the place, and I assume that we'll see some consolidation in the future on what lists actually look like, but triple Impulse does seem to be the standard. Lucas is playing 2 Heavy Polymerization, which is only in some lists. Bori topped both Meta Weeklies with Lunalight post-release, one when Lunalight was first released, and one again on Sunday. He was playing Black Go and Thrust, but he cut those for Impulses. We have 2 more lists. The one on the right is playing triple Heavy Poly, no Impulse at all. And now it is time for a Ryzeal update. Ryzeal got Eclipse Twins, and there's two main ways that players are playing Ryzeal right now. One is with the Onomat Dododo Gagaga stuff, and the other is Mitsurugi, with a heavier Mitsurugi package. That's why Maitama is represented here, because it is a heavier Mitsurugi package with pre-prep. Kawaki won the last Meta Weekly with Onomat Ryzeal, and what this does is search floodgates. No Name is on a old-looking Mitsurugi Ryzeal list, but it's new format, and he's replaced the limited Ryzeals with more copies of Tachyon. Now we're moving into the miscellaneous other stuff. Smax is playing Memento. Slayton on the right is playing what looks to be an Infernable Sky Striker Argo Star Millennium Makonko deck. Note the one Kaiju Waterfront with Genesys. Ancient Fairy Dragon's gonna go get your Waterfront, which will then search you Genesys to out the Lunalight Liger. Base heckin' loves Blue Eyes. On the left, he's playing a pure list, which is using Kaibaman to make Magia. And on the right, he is using a 60-card Dragon Maid list, which looks kinda interesting to me, but I don't have the Blue Eyes cards. Genesys Rejoice. It is here. Michelle has a Millennium Crystron deck, a deck that is incredibly fun to play, and has completely disappeared for some reason. Comsboy is playing Dynamorphia. I don't condone morphing. And Mako on the right is playing Sky Striker with the new Zero and Lemnis Gate. He's got 3 copies of Zero, 1 Lemnis Gate. We have 2 different Gem Knight lists. 4K3's list is the Blind Second OTK list. Abdo is playing the Fiendsmith Christia list. I didn't know where the heck to put this. Haga is playing pure Fiendsmith Bestials. Morpho played regular pure branded, and Cowrie's joking around with Shadal tier limits, which looks honestly kind of fun. And then we had a T2 Trials team tournament, and I did count each of these in the winners, so this is where that one Blue Eyes comes from. Ember, Eri, and Panda Alex were playing Fiendsmith Mitsurugi, Blue Eyes Primite, and just regular Maliss. Both Ember and Panda Alex stream, so go check them out. T2 got 2nd place. Terramero was playing Lunalight, like he was in the Meta Weekly. Darth was on Mitsu Ryzeal with Tachyons without pre-prep. And Abomad is on, predictably, branded. Team BE got 3rd place. I don't know what these 2 players' names are, but it is Gem Knight Christia, and we have Maliss, and then we have Quench on a Slim 40 Mitsurugi Magistus deck. In 4th place, we have Lunalight, Sakura on a heavier pure Mitsurugi deck, and of course, rounding out the list, Maliss.
Genesys time!
So now it's time for Genesys. I've still yet to address the points updates, but I think that they're great, so let's see what won. What won was Generator. Generator's in the pile of decks I hate. I flippin' hate Generator. And then in 2nd place, we have a Fish deck. And then the other 2 decks in top 4 was a Toy Box White Forest deck and a Resonator Red Dragon Archfiend deck, which is cracked if you didn't know. In their top 8, we apparently have another Red Dragon Archfiend deck, a Blue Eyes deck, a Memento deck, and a Pearly deck, which we don't get to see the list for, but apparently they exist. Which of these decks interests you the most? I'm interested in trying out that big Mitsurugi branded deck and maybe that 60-card Blue Eyes Dragon Maid deck. Thanks for watching, and if you liked this video, you might like this one next.